Get the recording going. There we go. So thank you guys all for joining in today. It is May. Can you believe we have made it to May? Oh, it's nice to see everything coming in. The numbers for April were quite fantastic. In fact, I am going to share my screen so that we can see this. Share my view here. Oh, hang on a second. Let me return to the meeting and let in a couple of people in the lobby. And we'll get started here. There we go. So you should see my screen now, and it's got the graph. I've got this compared April of 21 to April of 19. So April of 2019, we were 6.6 million in total sales. Last month, we were at just over the 3 million mark. So almost 50%, not quite. This is showing that we're down 54%. So operating right around that 45%, which is a great increase. You can see that red line is moving up, which is the direction we want it to be going in. So quite fantastic that we're nearing that 50% mark, which I know you guys are all feeling it. You're seeing the requests coming in. You are probably busier now than you have been in quite a while. So it's a big shift to get back to. I want to take a few minutes today and go through CeLo Pay. CeLo Pay is the online merchant process for charging service fees or collecting credit cards from your clients. And so I'll just take a few minutes to, we've got quite a few people still coming in. Hi, Mary. And there's Debbie. And we'll get the other person in here. Okay. So I'm going to jump over and share my screen again, and we'll look at CeLo Pay, and I'll show you guys what that looks like. Let me get over here and come to the secure payment system. So just want to talk through, hang on a second. There we go. CeLo Pay is our online merchant account. So this is the tool that you guys can use now to collect credit card information in a PCI compliant, secured way. And then, so there's a few things that you can do with this system. One is you can just send out a link to request their credit card, not charge anything, just have a secured way of collecting their credit card, without sending a credit card authorization form, without them emailing it, without getting on the phone and having them give it to you and you scribble it on a piece of paper. This is a way that ensures to your clients that you have their best interests, the safety of their card in mind. And so you can send this out to collect their credit card information. You can send it out to get an authorization to send the credit card onto a third party for charges, or you can get a charge authorization for like your service fees. So when you log in here, you will, and in order to get access, send me an email. Let me know that you want to have a login. I will get a link sent out to you for your login credentials. When you log in, you'll see this dashboard. It'll be divided between completed requests and pending requests. For most things that you'll do, you'll go to the new billing request, and it's really just fill in the blanks. So you'll come in and fill out your client's information, first name, last name, telephone number, email address. The phone number is not required, but an email address is because the link goes to their email. You can put in an expiration date. So if you're collecting a service fee and you're not going to start working on that trip until they have paid you, then you can say, I'll send you a link for my fees. If you've not paid that within the next 3 days, then you might send a reminder, but you're not going to work on anything until that request has been sent in. So you can put an expiration date, but it is optional. You will want to include the description or purpose. This is going to be presented to them when they receive the link. So there's 500 characters. You can put information on planning fee, if it is $500 planning fee for their Italy trip, or if this is a $100 consulting fee and more will be collected later. You can get as descriptive as you want to on how you're going to do your fees. Or it could be that this is going to be a pre-authorization for the Seabourn cruise that you're planning for them. So it is to collect their payment information to pass on to Seabourn for the booking. So, but remember, description and purpose, it is displayed to the billing contact. Assignment, it will default with the agency. You'll need to select the department as Andavo Travel. And then moving down, additional information, it is asking for an invoice number. And so what we need you to do as you're processing these for doing a service fee is that you would go into client base first, process the res card with a service fee, invoice that as a cash payment for the amount that you are collecting. Make note of that the invoice number, because you'll put that in right here. So this is your client base invoice number on that service fee. And then you'll come down and you've got transactions. You have 3 options to select from. No payment is really just going in and asking them for the credit card so that you can have that on file. Just whatever reason it is you're needing to have their credit card, but you're not processing anything. You're not getting an authorization of anything. Maybe you just need to update the profile that you have for them with updated credit card information. Authorize only is what you're going to use if you're collecting the credit card and you want to have electronic authorization to pass that on to Seabourn Cruise. So then you see that when you select authorize only, it now does come up with an amount and USD as the currency. So if you're doing your cruise, you could come in here and put the amount of the cruise, your $10,000, and then you can say deposit due with Seabourn Cruise or final payment or whatever you want to have listed there. The third type is sale. So this is when you're going to be processing the actual service fee. The charge is going to go through on their card. So this is where you're going to enter in your $150 service fee or your $500 service fee, whatever it is you're collecting right now from the client. Transaction purpose, you can say service fee, or you can be a little bit more descriptive. You've got some space there as well. Internal notes and comments, this doesn't go anywhere. It just stays within SeaLoPay. So there may be something that you want to add into this, but it is really not visible to anybody but you once you open this back up again. Attachments, you have an option to do a couple of different attachments. Private is only going to be for you. This is not going to go anywhere. It's not going to be forwarded to anybody. It will only be visible within SeaLoPay. Public files are going to be like your terms and conditions, or if you've got a confirmation from the cruise line or the tour operator showing that the deposit is due or the amount of the trip, you can send that with as a public file, and so that is in with the document or with the link to authorize those charges. Tags is not something that we use, so you don't need to enter anything there. And then all you do is complete it by clicking on the blue box that says send request. This is going to send the link out to the email that you listed in that first part for the client. It will have the information that you have listed in there with an area where they will securely go in and enter their credit card information. They'll do a checkbox that acts as their electronic signature. And then what it looks like when it comes back, actually, let me pull up one and I will show you what it looks like. Oh. Well, we will pull up this one. So it is going to show you who it was created by, when it was created, that it was delivered, they opened it, they clicked on the links, they have completed it. You'll see the information that was entered in, and then you'll come down and see the credit card information. Now, this is a secured site, so it does encrypt the credit card number. When it is not archived, when it's a live booking, you'll have a little blue box here that says view card. You'll be able to click on that, and you have 30 seconds in which you can then capture the full card. It will unencrypt it, and then you'll see the full card with the expiration date, and then you've got their billing address that you can use to update your files or send on to the vendor. Now, one thing to keep in mind as well is that this does not capture the 3-digit code on the back of the card. So that's one of the restrictions with PCI compliance, is that you cannot keep the card and the security code in the same place. So that is something that you would need to follow up with your clients in order to secure the 3-digit or 4-digit code on the back of their card if the vendor is needing it. If it is not something that the vendor captures in the payment process, then you're fine, you don't need it. But that is something that you would need to get separately. So I'm gonna bounce back over, stop sharing my screen, bounce back over here to everybody, and just see if anybody had any questions on that. That I probably went through it pretty quick, but if there are any questions anybody had, feel free to unmute or put it in the comments box.
Hey, Kristen, I have a question. It's Gigi.
Yeah.
Who covers the merchant fees? I mean, if you're doing $10,000, that's going to be $500 in merchant fees.
Yeah, so there is a 4% merchant that goes with this. So things to keep in mind when you are, so it's 4% with this merchant fee. ARC is 2.84. So if you do your service fees through ARC already, then I would continue to do your service fees through ARC and have that processed that way. For those of you that don't have the GDS and are doing your service fees through our manual process, this is a great alternative because it is more automated. But it is that 4% merchant fee. So if you charge $100 for your service fee, you're going to net $96 on your agent statement. If you are doing a authorization for to get the client's credit card for the vendor's payment, the vendor is going to be, it's going to be their merchant. So there's no charge that's going through. So if you're just doing an authorization to give the credit card for you to act on their behalf to give their credit card over to Seaborn, you're just getting the authorization on that. There's no merchant fee that's going to be charged on that. So only when you select that sale option and you're charging the card for the service fee does the 4% come into play. if you're using this to get a gross payment in order to send a payment, and like we've got to do an agency payment to the vendor, you can use this to do a sale, but then you do have to consider that 4% and gross up the amount that you're collecting from the client in order to have that net amount to send on to the vendor. It doesn't happen too often, but there are times that the vendors do require an agency payment. And so if the cost of the trip is $10,000, that's the amount that needs to go to the vendor. You've got to do the 10,000 plus the 4% in order to have the net of the 10,000 in the agency to send on with agency payments. So great question, Gigi. Thanks for asking that. Again, if it all possible, we want all payments to go directly from the vendor. We don't want to be the intermediary, but so this is a great way just to collect those service fees.
Kirsten, do you have to, is that invoice number required if you're just getting like authorization, or
no,
you're just getting...
So if you're just getting authorization, there's no charge that's coming through to Aggresso that needs to be matched up. So the purpose of the invoice number is on those sales when you're charging something that is going to come into our bank account. And we need to match that with the money in the bank so that we know that that is yours. So the invoice number will match up to your invoice in client base that then they can match to the money in the bank from CeeLo Pay that came in with that invoice number. So you do not need to do an invoice number. You can say no invoice, or you can put zeros in there. It's not a required field, but we do need an invoice number to be listed on the sale transactions. Does not need to be listed on no payment, and does not need to be listed on authorized only. And then I saw a comment on instructions, and I do have an instruction sheet that I will be posting on our Teams channel in the general tab. So I'll have that listed there so everyone can see those instructions. And you'll be able to see if a client's payment has come through or not. Well, on that screen, there was the completed and the pending, and you'll be able to see if anything is still in the pending. There is a way that you can go in and send a reminder. So if it has been 3 days and you've not seen that payment come through yet, you can send a reminder to your clients to have that processed in order for you to continue on with the research for that trip. And if you guys have any questions or run across any struggles using this, let me know. There have been a few things that have come through a little weird, but we've had a lot that have gone through with no problems, and I think we've got the bugs worked out right now and have our process really down, that they're coming into accounting and being able to match to those invoices that are listed in there. Okay, I don't see any other comments on that. So I did want to let you guys know I did go to Dominican Republic last week. It was a great trip. It was the ALG Top Agency Award trip. And so I had never been to Dominican Republic before, so it was my first time going. We stayed at the Secrets Royal Beach in Punta Cana. It was beautiful property right on the beach, gorgeous sand, very nice water. I am not a beach person, so I didn't spend a whole lot of time down on the beach, but crystal blue waters, beautiful sand, great service down on the beach, plenty of pools. The grounds were gorgeous to just walk around in. They have the preferred club. They have the regular main pool. They have a quiet pool. They had another little pool called the Cove that was around the corner that we walked through, but I didn't stay there very much. And I'd say it was a very good Secrets. It was very comfortable rooms, good service. We were in the preferred area, so we had butler service, and the butlers were very attentive. When we're sitting around the pool in the afternoons, I would listen to what other guests were saying, and a lot of compliments on the service and the amenities and things that everybody was getting. So I think it was a very good hotel. The check-in process, when we got to the airport, so going to Dominican Republic, we did not have to, you don't have to get the pre-COVID test anymore. You do a online health questionnaire. It was a fairly difficult process. It shouldn't have been difficult, but their form doesn't always work. So they do have an online form, and there were many attempts at completing the form, because you would get to certain sections and it would like bomb out. So you'd have to start all over again. So that was probably one of the more frustrating pieces in going, was filling out their online questionnaire. They do a randomized COVID test upon arrival. So it was, I don't know how they do the randomizations, but it was kind of just a you that way and you that way. So it turned out to kind of feel like it was about a 50-50. Every other group in line was either going through without the COVID test or having to go over and do the COVID test. It was a breath test. So you blew into a tube, and then 5 minutes later, they let you know if you passed the test or not. And then off to the hotel we went. Secrets did arrange for our COVID tests. They have health professionals there on site that you just schedule your time for your COVID test. You go up to their little medical room, have the COVID test done, and then 24 hours later, your results are in. So they made that very easy. It was not a complicated thing at all. And then returning back, was check-in at the airport was pretty normal. There wasn't anything that we had to have our negative COVID test at check-in, but that was about it. Oh, how was the food at Secrets? I am so not a fan of all-inclusive food. It was nice. I think that I have a hard time with food that is at all inclusives, because it just doesn't seem like it's the best food experience. So if you have clients that are foodies, you're probably not sending them to an all inclusive anyway. And it was good food. I felt that their room service menu was very limited. The lunch option restaurants were fairly limited. They had a fantastic snack shack down at the beach, had great burgers and fries. That was probably upon the best meals that we had was right there at the Burger Shack. Food was a buffet. Lunch, you had 2 restaurant options plus the buffet. And then dinner, there were like 7 dinner restaurants. Right now, none of which required reservations. So it was very nice and easy to be able to go and have dinner. All the restaurants were open every night. It wasn't anything that they rotated through. So, excuse me, I'd say the food was good for Secrets. Any other questions? Oh, Shirley, I just saw your question. Is there a way to see the card number again after you receive the authorization? It does remain in the record. So once you get whether it's an authorization or the payment, you can scroll down to see the card information, and you'll have the blue view card button. And that will always be there. It does not go away. You could see it an unlimited number of times. Just each time it only stays visible for 30 seconds, which sounds like very quick. And again, I would caution you guys as to what you do with the credit card number when you're viewing it. And one of the things that is just really easy to do is get the piece of paper out and write the number down. That makes it not PCI compliant anymore. So what I would recommend you do is have your client base profile open to the screen where you would input the credit card number, go into CeLo Pay, open up, view the card. You can highlight it and copy, and then go back over to client base in that credit card screen and enter a credit card and paste it into that section. So you're just doing a copy paste function. You're not writing the number down. Because then once it is in client base, it is now encrypted in that system as well. So it is never saved as a live card. And something else then for you guys to keep in mind as well, in order to stay PCI compliant, is that you are not storing that 3-digit code in their client-based profile either. Client-based profiles don't have a place for it in the credit card section. You could probably put it in a note section or something, but I wouldn't spell it out, security code on back of card with the number. It may just be something that you have in a note section. Meredith, do you have any suggestions on where people have stored that 3-digit code?
Well, it's probably, again, not the best idea, but in the credit card thing, there is a place for notes. And that's normally where I have put mine. Now you can do it like, XXX, then the number XX, I mean, you could disguise it in some way. But there is a place.
Yeah, you just don't want to call it out.
Yeah, I don't know. This is the security code, but I do put it in there. And there are places where it's more hidden under like agent remarks or something, but there is a spot in the client-based payment field where you can put it. It doesn't call it that, and you would just freeform it in there.
Yeah, great, thanks. And Cindy, thank you for your comment. You can also move your client-based profiles into the GDS. Yes, we do have all 3 GDS systems set up that you can keep your client base, your clients' profiles in client base, which is a very secured place to house profiles. Plus, it's an easy place to house profiles for families, for multi-passenger profiles. And then when you're ready to do an air booking in the GDS, you can call up that profile in client base and do a merge PNR. It will ask you which clients are traveling or which travelers are traveling. You just click some radio buttons, click merge PNR, and it will build that, start that PNR in the GDS. So if you have any questions on that, I'm going to throw you over to Meredith because I'm not going to be the best person to answer that. But Cindy, that is the way you manage your profiles, and you're a GDS advisor. And that's, as far as I know, that's how you've always managed your profiles. So thanks for mentioning that. And I think, Meredith, your team that's been out in Birmingham, that's the way you pretty much have always managed your profiles as well.
Yes, correct. It's very easy. It's very easy to update profiles that way as well.
Great. So has anybody else had any travels lately? I know we've had Danielle in Hawaii. I saw Laura Burton is in Hawaii. I don't know if anybody else has had any travels that they want to do any updates on.
This is Danielle.
Hi, Danielle.
Hello. I did have a great time in Hawaii. I was on Kona. Interestingly enough, I arrived on a Saturday, and I did have to take a COVID test the day I arrived. And it was the nasal swab. Then they took our cell phone information and all of that and said they would be in contact if they needed us. Now, a friend of mine arrived the next day, and they she came in around 9 o'clock, and they just pushed him right through.
Oh.
No COVID for the whole plane. No one had to take.
No one had to. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Interesting.
So it seems like it's a little random. It's
Yeah.
happening, but maybe at 9 or 9:30 at night, they're like, nah, just go.
Was it your whole plane? Everybody that was on the same flight as you?
Yeah, the whole plane.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Hannah just said that she went to Kauai and Oahu and no test required to go from Kauai over to Oahu. Great. Thanks, Danielle. So you're back home now?
Yep, got back home last Tuesday. It was nice. It was really nice to be away for a little bit, as I'm sure everybody can imagine, right? We're seeing
Yeah.
a few people having been to Hawaii. It was lovely. Great weather.
Good. Anybody else have any upcoming travels? Might be typing. Meredith, I'm going to give you a second. Do you have any upcoming webinars?
We do. We have a couple coming up and one that's being rescheduled. One of them was actually supposed to be this week, was the private island that you went to, but they've had to reschedule. So we don't have that.
Oh, the aerial?
Right, the aerial. And
okay.
Then we do have coming up next week, we've got two. We've got, and I'll be sending these out just as an update on that. But let's see, next week we've got the I'm sorry, I'm looking at the Wanalani Auberge Resorts collection, and then on Thursday we have Colette Tours, which is escorted motor coach, and is a virtuoso supplier. And then hopefully the next week we'll be doing aerial, and that's what we have. We also have one coming up with Seabourn. Allie, if you're on, I think that's on the 6th. Is that on Thursday? I believe it is, with Seabourn. That wasn't one I scheduled, so I think it's the 6th. But we'll double check that. I think Allie sent that info out in the newsletter.
I did, and there is Seabourn on May 6th,
yeah.
And then, but too far out, but June 17th. So, but yes, the most recent one is May 6th.
Okay, great. Thank you, guys. And we do have a couple of comments that have been added in. Terry Kuhn is going to Peru in November if it's open. That will be exciting. Love to hear back on that one. And Cheryl, you and Mike are leaving for Cabo tomorrow. That will be good. And Catherine going to High Hampton Inn this weekend in North Carolina. Yeah, it would be great to hear an update on that one. It's been revamped by the Blackberry Farms design team. So very good. Any blogs from travels? Allie would be much appreciated to get those. And I know she will say she wants one from me. So I will be working on that.
Kirsten, can we talk about hotels for a sec?
Absolutely.
So I know that we belong to a lot of a few of the nicer hotel programs, and there's some more coming on board. So we were brainstorming, and we were wanting to put together a kind of a document that I could share with my clients, both corporate and leisure, to remind them that we have these value adds with Rocco Forte, Rosewood, Hyatt Privé, and now I know the new Hilton, Belmont. All of these, because sometimes the clients are booking with their miles and they'll think, oh, I'll just hop online. They don't know that we have all these different amenity programs if they book with us for that. And so we were going to try to publish a document where we could show them if they book with us and give them an example of what these perks and amenities might be to kind of entice them to move away from maybe booking on the internet. And part 2 of this is, can I turn a booking live on my website from Virtuoso, so that clients go to my website, they can book the Virtuoso product live, and then it would drop into my GDS or my pseudo, something like that. I don't know where it goes, just as long as it can find me, I'm happy after the booking. Anyway,
Yeah.
okay, that's it.
So a couple different things. So with the hotel amenity programs, we do not currently have a marketing piece, but Allie, I believe that's something that we could definitely work on. That would be a marketing piece that highlights some of the amenity programs that we have that you would be able to then share with your clients as a remember to bother me kind of an email, even if, don't worry about bothering me.
Yeah, it's a great value add piece, I think.
Yeah, it is. And a lot of times it comes down to they're just doing a quick hotel. And so, they don't want to bother you. But if they knew that they could get these amenities by bothering you, then yeah, you want them to contact you. And you don't consider it a bother.
Yeah, if I can just say, this came up because of last Thursday or Friday, I had a client, oh, we're going to go to a conference at the Westin Kierland or wherever. And I said, ew. And then I remembered to use my little Marriott secret code or whatever, that L72 or whatever. And sure enough, the conference rate wasn't available, but I was able to offer them the same rate that was in the GDS or the rack rate, but it came with all the amenities and the breakfast and all of that. They were thrilled over the top. And I'm like, I need to get this out there and remind them that when they're shopping or looking for hotels, if it's in front of them, they can pick and choose off the list.
Yeah. Yeah. So we will get something put together for that. I think that would be great. So Danielle, if you want to be kind of our guinea pig with that, we can put it together and get it over to you so you can look it over and we can tweak it from there.
Yeah, Allie, I'm happy to work with you on this, and that'd be great. I think it'd be and then Allie, do I work with you about trying to get the Virtuoso hotel? How do I get that attached to my website so that my clients can book right from the website, the Virtuoso hotels?
You can use, so I'm assuming you're talking about your own website outside of the free private label website that you get for Virtuoso, right?
Well, my website is hosted from Virtuoso. I don't know that it's free. I think it's static page though. I don't know.
Okay, I think let's take a look at it offline, and then I can also work with you to kind of develop this list, and then we can share it out to everybody. That would be great.
Wonderful. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, so you can do the hotel booking, the Virtuoso hotel booking program. You have to go through a training module, and then you can have access to book through virtuoso.com. There's another step to have it opened up to consumers so that you give out your private label site and then they can go through and do bookings. What happens when your client books is Virtuoso lives in Sabre. So those bookings are created in Sabre. You'll get an email confirmation that says that your client just made this booking for at whatever property for whatever dates and the amount confirmation number. And then what you'll need to do is go into the system and invoice that. So you'll do a passive hotel segment in the GDS to invoice that.
Oh, I see. Okay. I got it. Because I think this is a great way to capture those evening and weekend bookings that people do when they think we're closed.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, so with you having that website through Virtuoso, we may need to do a few other things that might be Virtuoso technical people getting involved, but we can definitely look at that.
So for people that have client base, if clients book directly through Virtuoso, does it go right into their client base for them?
No, it's the same kind of process. They get an email that has a confirmation. They have to go into client base, create the res card, and generate the invoice.
Okay. Got it. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. And so Jackie asked, where can we see a list of the hotel booking codes? So I am going to see if I can't share my screen again and come over here to our team site. So let me know if you guys can see this screen. Do you see the teams?
We can.
Okay. So you all should have gotten your invite to join our Andavo Teams channel, and you would have access to the Andavo Advisor Connect. Under it are these 4 different categories: general, advisor group chat, the Monday meeting recordings, and then vendor webinar recordings. Most of our information is going to be housed in the general category. Up at the top, we have files and resource guide. Under the resource guide, we will have the information for our hotel reps and booking information. So this is where you will see the rate codes that will be used. And if there's a different rate code for the different GDS systems, I'm getting those added in. So here's our Hilton Impresario program. Dylan English is our rep, his contact information, the direct website to book the Impresario rate, or through the GDS, you have these different rate codes. So this is being built out in here. I'm adding in the information as I'm going through the files and getting this all added in. Some of it is just that we've got the sales rep confirmation or information listed. And then with others, we have the, if we have a special booking rate code, then that is listed here. And then we have files is where we'll have some more information on the hotel programs. So if you're looking to see what all the benefits are of the different programs, you could come in and see their presentation deck that they've got the amenities or the different contact information there as well.
Kristen, if we, with regards to the hotels and all that, if we wanted to, can we export that if we want to put it into our own document, or no?
You should be able to take this and then do a download. As from the files, from the resource guide, you'd have to copy and paste.
Got it.
So if you were wanting the core information, you'd have to copy that and then put it into something else. But the files with these, you would be able to come into the hotel program, and any of these files you would be able to then download into your system. And while we're here, I'll go over some of the other things that we've been adding in. So we have accounting forms that have been added in. So if you did need to do a wire transfer, we've got that information listed here, or if there's anything that you needed on a refund form or check request form, all of those are saved here now, and you can take those and then download them as well. If there's anything that you guys are looking for, as we're moving things from the old resource center into our teams, let me know as we can get those moved over as well. We're kind of moving things over as we've got time or we've been working on them. Client base, Meredith has got some great how-tos in here. So if you have a question on how to do a service fee or how to do a res card, how to create an invoice, these are some great documents as well. Question on Terry, is there a list of all Andavo ICs? You know, that is something that we have not worked on updating yet. We did have a list of an Andavo directory, so I will take that as a to-do to get that added in so that we would have each of you with your contact information so that you can reach out to each other and know how to get a hold of each other. I don't know that there's a way for me to move that. I might have to rebuild it. Thanks, Terry. And then Teresa did site inspection at Bishop's Lodge, Albert, Santa Fe. Wow, it's going to be fabulous. Great for corporate retreats, weddings. Very good. Yeah, I bet Allie would love to have a blog post on that too. Okay, any other questions or comments? I did get an email from Brenda earlier today regarding Hertz. I wanted to share with you guys. She has a client that's been a Hertz #1 gold member for a long time, and he went and picked up a car, and it was just a one-day rental, and his experience was not so great. They did put a $300 hold on his credit card, not a debit card, credit card. And they also required proof of insurance, which I had not heard car companies requiring proof of insurance. And then he had, some other service issues with them giving him the wrong parking spot. But just wanted to share with you guys the experience that this client had had. So we've got some feedback from this client. And they had explained that they were short on cars, which we've all heard, but had not heard of the $300 hold on the credit card and proof of insurance for car rentals as well. So something to know and just be aware of. They have other clients that run into that as well. All right. Well, thank you guys all for joining in today. Thanks for the feedback on the trips that you've had and the upcoming ones. We're excited to hear about your travels as you go on them. Let us know. Send Allie those blog posts. We love to have them on our website. We like to share that information. And remember to go into our Teams chat to start talking with each other, get recommendations, give feedback, and then look for those resources. Terry, thanks for that on the IC directory. That's a great idea. I will get that started getting built out as well. So thanks everybody for joining in, and we will talk to you again next week. Bye everybody.